which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show, Islamic Law Today. And we always would like to welcome Professor Muhammad Naim Saie, the professor in several Islamic American universities in America. Thank you for being with us. As a reminder, this is not a fatwa show. This is a show that concern about the Sharia law or the Islamic law. You can communicate with us and call us at 0020238555248 or 249, and you can write to us at the email islamiclawtoday@huda.tv. Professor Muhammad, in the last episode last week, we were talking about the reasons and the evidence of some Muslim scholars showed regarding why they want to prove that the protesters that we saw in the Middle East was against the Sharia law, or this is what their fatwa was. And they mentioned three reasons. The first one was bid'ah, that demonstration or protesting is a bid'ah, innovation. And the second one was khuruj an al-hakim, or which is being against the ruler. And the third one was fitna. We mentioned and you talked in depth about the first two, which is the bid'ah, the innovations, and the khuruj al-hakim, which is being against the ruler. But we didn't have, unfortunately, the time to talk about the fitna, the unrest. So if you please tell us originally, what is the meaning of the word fitna from a fiqh point of view, or the unrest?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تجعل أعمالنا ونياتنا وأقوالنا كلها خالصة لوجهك الكريم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. فرج الكرب عنا وعن المكروبين ونفس الهم عنا والمهمومين. اللهم أزل الظلم والظالمين.
Amen.
Let me just start by explain to our audience and viewers about what is the main purpose of this program again. They might get confused when I said that it's not a program for fatwa, it's a program about Islamic law or Sharia. What we mean by that is this program is mainly to focus on big issues, major issues concerning Muslims everywhere, and this program to be fitting their demand and their situations, their big questions, to try to reshape the Islamic understanding toward the big issues in Islam, so we can come up with a true and pure and clear Islamic understanding based on Islamic law rules. It's good at the same time for non-Muslims to watch this program. We are showing them the beauty of this deen, the beauty of this Islam, the beauty of Islamic law when you are talking about big issues in Islam. So we talk about Egyptian revolution is not just about Egyptian revolution, is about every revolution might take place or is taking place already everywhere in Muslim countries and Arab countries. How could we apply the Islamic understanding based on Islamic law rules? So this is the purpose, the big one purpose of this program, inshallah. When we took the last episode about some scholars, they were against this revolution. I did state a very important Islamic law rule or base. And I said that إذا حصل مطلوب الشرع بما لا يتفق معه فإنه لا يزال. If what the Islamic law is demanding or is aiming happened. So the result was matching with the Islamic law, demand and request and aim. You cannot go for the removal of this result. You have to accept this result, and then you go, as I said in Arabic language, the rest of this Islamic law base or rule. ثم يعاد على المتسبب بما لا يتفق معها بطلب الغفران والضمان أو بطلب الغفران وحسب إن لم يكن ثمة ضمان. Then you go back to that person who was causing this result, this Islamic law result, without taking the mean, the Islamic mean or Islamic law mean toward that result. We go to that person, either that he did do something against Islamic law rules does cause some kind of damage to others, so he has to pay for it, he has to cover it, or he has to be punished. And then we ask him at the same time to ask Allah for forgiveness. Sometimes he did something caused by his wrongdoing. A good result is very acceptable in Islamic law. We ask him to ask Allah for forgiveness because there is nothing as a damage happened to others by his action. And as this just a very simple example, if a thief he was watching the programs on the TVs or maybe in the magazines or the newspapers, and he found that Muslims in this area, in that maybe village, they are in bad need to a school, and some kind of maybe Islamic feelings and emotional, positive emotional feelings has come to him to say, I would like to share or maybe I'd like to build that school. What he did go and steal money from someone. He broke through to some rich people, maybe a store or maybe house,
a
bank or something like this, and took that money without notifying anyone, and those that are in charge of that school, and he built that school. So the school was built by this unlawful money, by this unlawful action. We cannot go and destroy the school.
We have to
We'll take the school and we go to that person and we punish him. Before that, we take the money he did steal and get it back to its people, and ask that person to be asking Allah for forgiveness for what he did. But we don't remove. The removal of that result is against the Islamic law. So what happened in Egypt and maybe somewhere else, the result of this revolution, maybe it was caused by non-Islamic, purely non-Islamic or 100% Islamic law method, but it did cause a result which is acceptable in Islamic law. When you are seeing the removal of an unjust regime, like in Egypt,
yes,
or maybe somewhere else, inshallah ta'ala, you cannot say, well, I will not accept that result, I have to bring back that regime again, because it was caused by non-Islamic or unlawful maybe action or according to Islamic law. No, we accept that result. Then we go back to these people who they caused this result, and we ask him to ask Allah for forgiveness. We ask him Allah for forgiveness for them, and to try to utilize the result of this action to put it in an Islamic way, reshape it according to Islamic law.
Which opened the door for a question, if you don't mind. Would that open the door for a group of people who wants to remove an unfair and unjust regime, to seek help from a non-Muslim to help them to remove that regime, to put the Islamic law, even though that they will put their hands in the hands of the enemy of Islam?
Yeah, this is a different fiqh issue. This is a different Islamic law issue. I was mentioning to you before that we're going to cover the section, special section regarding this event, this revolution and other revolution, what kind of Islamic law issues have come out of this revolution, because we have more than 50 Islamic law issues were the result of this event in Egypt and somewhere else. So what is the Islamic law status on these issues?
Yes.
An example, someone killed someone, someone raped someone burned public maybe properties. Many things happen as a result of this revolution and some other revolution somewhere else. So we need to cover this from Islamic point of view to again apply the Islamic understanding to this event. So for your question, if a Muslim was passing by a place and someone was stopping him to steal his money, to harm him physically, to harm his maybe honor by harming his wife, his daughter, and that person was so weak, he is not able to defend himself, and that person that was attacking him is a Muslim too. So as a event between two Muslims.
Yes.
And that Muslim is trying to defend himself, try to protect himself and his wife and his money, but he is not able. Someone was passing by. He was a Christian, but he was able to help. Is it lawful to ask, to seek the help of that person to defend himself, to protect his money, his body, his wife, or is it lawful? Unanimously, yes, he is allowed to do that.
It's allowed.
It's allowed because this is the matter of necessity. He has no choice but to seek the help of someone. Even that one was not a Muslim, but he is in need of that help. So if something happened right now, similar to this situation, that Muslims are not able to defend themselves, but to ask or to seek help of someone non-Muslim, because unfortunately, Muslims are watching and hearing, but they are not able to help, or maybe they are not willing to help regardless of that, why they are not helping their Muslim brothers in somewhere in these Arab countries or Muslim countries. Originally, they have to help them. They have to expand their help and their hand to them. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-Muslimu akhul Muslim, la yadhlimuhu wa la yahqiruhu wa la yakhdhuluhu wa la yuslimuhu." You cannot let your brother down. You have to help him. But suppose this is the situation. Your brother is not helping you. Could you seek the help of someone else? Yes.
Definitely, yes. But that will open, come back to the first question, that will open the door for the fitna. People will say, well, that will cause fitna because non-Muslim, you are seeking a help of non-Muslim against your Muslim brother. And that will go back to the Muslim, what the Muslim scholar said from the beginning about this. Some of this Muslim scholar, when they said in the beginning that will cause fitna, will cause unrest between the Muslim nations if you make a protest against your leaders.
Right.
So what is the meaning really of the fitna or unrest in the fiqh issue?
نعم جزاك الله خيرا. Just to refresh my memory and memory our respected viewers, we did differentiate the last episode between the case when Muslim scholars they talk about going against Muslim ruler who is applying the Sharia, and these people they have they are armed people. They have some proof or evidence to give them the excuse to go for that demand. They are going against the Muslim ruler who is applying the Sharia. That Muslim ruler is a just person. He's applying the Sharia, but these people they have some kind of confusion maybe, and they thought that he is not qualified for that position. So they go and against him using arm and everything. They call it bugha, as we said in the other episode. Yes. They have different and specific rules. But they have different issue in the Muslim scholars. When the Muslim ruler is not applying the Sharia, or he is applying some of it, or maybe applying just the outer of it, and he is unjust, he is very aggressive, he is very bad person, he is not practicing Islam, he is going against or going after the Muslims' wealth, honors, and properties, is just spread the mischief in the whole country, and he put his country at the danger of others from outside. It's a very corrupted ruler. So what is the status of that ruler? What is the Islamic law rule regarding this issue, this different issue. And as I said before, that they have three different maybe cases regarding this issue. But let me just wrap it up by saying we have, as a Muslim scholars, it's very important for Muslim scholars and for the Muslims in general to make things clear, to make it very truthful to everyone. We cannot mix between 1 and 2 and make it just one. We cannot just try to make Muslims as a blind people. They cannot understand the fact. We have to be very honest and sincere. How to analyze the issue, how to answer the issue, and what is the real maybe Islamic understanding toward this issue. When we talk about fitna, what does make me sick sometimes, what does bother me, when someone tries to shape al-Islam totally, but what I call it negativeness. Like an example, and this is going on in a Muslim practice, in the Muslim mind, somewhere, somehow. Just a few examples. You remember, when you go to prayer, when you hear the adhan, and the mu'adhin saying, Hayya ala salah, Hayya al falah. What we say? We say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, right?
Yes.
What is the common feelings or understanding to Muslims when they hear mu'adhin saying, Hayya ala salah, and when they are saying, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah? What the term of La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah does reflect on the Muslim's mind and heart and their practice?
We can know about this, inshallah, after we come back from the break. So please stay with us. We have more to say.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Do you have questions that bother you? What about issues of concern to you? Would you like to share things on your mind with us? Are you interested in solutions based on an Islamic perspective? Please join me live in Meet Your Advisor every Friday at 9 p.m. Mecca time, here on Huda TV.
Proactive.
How to be proactive in Islam, how to serve our religion, how to serve our life.
No, we want them to be proactive in matters that are related to their ummah. The true leader, and this is maybe we need to have this, okay, among us as Muslims. The true leader is the one who creates leaders.
So the society at the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave the chance for the children to blossom.
Now who took the reward of this? The initiative of Ali bin Abi Talib. Ali bin Abi Talib took the reward because of his initiative.
How long have you been passive? How much time have you lost in your life because of negativity? Learn how to take conscious control over your life. Set your goals and work to achieve them in an Islamic way.
If you really love your wife, your children, your parents, your people, then you have to do your utmost. You have to do whatever you can in order to invite them to Islam. We are in need for this reminder. The main point is ikhlas, is sincerity, is what I want to get in the hereafter.
Join Sheikh Haytham Al-Haddad and his host, Muhammad Abdurrahim, in this inspiring show.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Unfortunately, we received bad news a few minutes ago that our brother Karim Atman, the assistant director in Huda TV, has passed away. So please, dear viewers, make dua for him, and may Allah granted him the paradise and forgive all his sins. Allahumma ameen. Wa inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Lillahi ma akhadha, lillahi ma ata. Rahimahullah.
Professor Muhammad, now we were talking about the fitna, and you were mentioning an example about the adhan.
Yes. What we were talking about, someone unfortunately is shaping Islam as a whole, religion and system and thought, philosophy, by the meaning of negativeness. And I said that this was practiced by Muslims, was going inside the Muslim's mind for many decades. So when someone comes to add to this negativeness, other negativeness by his own philosophy, you could imagine how much damage we are causing to our Islam. So when someone is talking about fitna, to say that if anything happened, any big event happened in your life as a Muslim, and you could analyze that event or see it as a fitna, and a fitna in that understanding, in that very narrow understanding, is to sit back, go inside your home, watch, and maybe make dua and say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I would like to elaborate on this very important issue, to clarify the meaning of fitna from Islamic law point of view, from Islamic understanding point of view, based on Islamic law rules.
Okay.
And I just brought an example and said how much sometimes Muslims they go negatively in their practicing, in their thinking, in their even philosophy. I brought the example of La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah when you are hearing the muaddin saying Hayya ala salah. If you look at the Muslims, when they say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, they are putting their head down. They are as if they have received very bad news. They are preparing themselves for tragedies or something like this. It did not was this way on his time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Subhanallah.
It did not mean that meaning at all. If you even go literally for that statement, for that term, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So what is this like from Arabic language, maybe linguistically point of view? You are just bringing the half of it to add the other half from your own practice. How to respond to La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah by saying, I'm seeking, oh my Lord, your help. Give me the strength. Give me the power. You see? Now,
yes.
I'm down. Oh Allah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Oh my Lord, give me the strength. Give me the power. Give me the enthusiasm. Give me the ability to go and answer the call of that muaddin, so I go to the masjid. It's like positive meaning. Right?
Yes, right.
So even in a death issue, the whole death issue in Islam, the whole death issue from Islamic law point of view, from Islamic understanding point of view, it is not negative. It is positive. Right? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ وَسَابِقُوا احذروا التسويف, when the Prophet was warning his followers to not wait for the death to come, is that just to sit back, watch, and just say, we are going to die anyway, so we have no choice but to die? It's not the meaning. The meaning here, if you are going to die, so try to rush, try to raise yourself, try to raise the time, try to raise the death itself to be more positive in your life. And that's what he meant by saying, عليه الصلاة والسلام, وإن كان إذا قامت القيامة وفي يد أحدكم فسيلة فليغرسها. The day of judgment, the whole day of judgment has come. But this big, signs, and you have a little plant in your hand, you should not say, well, there's no benefit by planting this plant, and I just leave it and go. No, he said, do it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge you, not by your result. Allah will judge you by your deed, your action, and your intention. If you have a good deed, action does match with the Sharia or the Islamic law, you have good intention, you are doing that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the reward will come for. Result is not in your hand. Allah will not question your result in the day of judgment. As long as you are seeking to that result, a very lawful mean and method, and you have the sincerity in your heart. So, going back to the fitna, fitna does not mean any negativeness in Islam. But sometimes we have a special maybe meaning to the fitna. So let me just bring some meaning to the fitna from Islamic understanding based on Islamic law rules. Sometimes fitna, really from linguistic point of view, fitna means when you are testing something, not testing something.
Yes.
You are testing that metal to see is it like pure or not. You are testing that ring. Is it like pure gold or some other maybe metal in it? You are testing that diamond, stone. Is it like valuable one or like cheap one, right?
Yes.
You call it fatanahu. وَفَتَنْتُهُ. That means you are testing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in the Quran Kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing His creation, His servant. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alif Lam Mim. أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ وَيُتْرَكُوا يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. So when Allah is going to test you subhanahu wa ta'ala, so fitna means here test your iman, test your belief, and test your action. And you could wrap up the whole meaning of the fitna by saying how Muslim is going to act or react to the fitna, to the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That test could come in different shape, in different meaning, in different pictures. Sometimes comes with a maybe means of difficulties and hardship.
Yes.
So that means that require patience from you. Right?
That's correct.
وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Right? So when we are tested by having some difficulties and hardship in your life, you have to show patience toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you say, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. But again, this word, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا رَاجِعُونَ does not mean that you have given up the whole hope. You are bringing the hope to you.
I see. This is a very beautiful concept.
All right. So this is like one mean of the fitna. Sometimes fitna comes in the shape of having more money. You have more kids. You have a beautiful wife. You have good looking. You have good position. You have good maybe rank. Good maybe certificate, diploma. All this fitna.
Doesn't mean necessarily that it's a
أموالكم
negative
وأولادكم
thing.
فتنة. أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة. Right?
You're right.
So this fitna means Allah is going to test you how to use what Allah has given you subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Are you going to say Alhamdulillah? Refer first of all to Him and then use it in His lawful way subhanahu wa ta'ala. You serve yourself, you serve others and say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Or are you going to refer to yourself إنما أوتيته تمام like Qarun what he said. يعني I was as American they said I made it. We said He made it for us. We say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So refer to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
So this is like a different kind of fitna. Your children, your wife, your wealth, your health, everything, right? And again, what is your action? Very positive. So the first meaning of fitna was very positive reaction, right?
Yes.
The second was very positive reaction. Now, sometimes fitna comes in the meaning when you see the spreading of corruptions, spreading of unlawful things in your life. Maybe inside your home, maybe inside your school, maybe inside your work, maybe inside your street, maybe inside maybe anywhere in this life. What is your role as a Muslim toward this phenomenon? Fitna. Fitna means spreading the fasad, spreading the corruption, spreading the unlawful things. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر. So what going to do? What is your action? It's positive reaction. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. Right?
Yes.
تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير. You cannot be negative. You have to be positive. If you see something, evil things happening or taking place, your job is to change it.
I see.
من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره. He has to change it. You have 3 ranks. Hand means authority,
Yes.
right? Does not mean your hand, your physical hand necessarily. Authority, any authority. Maybe sometimes by your word you could change it, right? because you have that authority. Maybe by talking to someone who has authority, you could change it. Or maybe in your tongue, you have no authority. But you could at least say, my brother, what you are doing is so unlawful. I feel very sorry about you. May Allah guide me and guide you. Using your tongue. You are not able even to reach that rank, which is less than the first one. You cannot just say, well, it's not my hand. I can't do anything. No, at least your heart has to be activated. فَبِقَلْبِهِ, then your heart has to be reacted to that unlawful thing by saying, oh Allah, you know that I don't like, I don't approve, I don't authorize what is going on. Oh Allah, help me in the future to change it. Oh Allah, guide these people to change it by themselves. This is in your heart. Now, sometimes the fitna comes when you cannot distinguish between evil things and good things. What is lawful, what is unlawful. And here now we have different status now.
That's the worst kind of fitna, I believe.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
When you cannot tell others, no, there's no unjust ruling in Egypt. An example. Everything's going alista, كما يقول in Egyptian language. Everything's going perfect. Right? Everything is taking his right. Everybody is enjoying his life. Something like this. So he cannot see. He cannot see that this unjust doing in this country. Someone said in different Muslim countries, no, everything is going okay. Like Gaddafi in Libya. There's no demonstration. Everyone is taking his right. They are just being jealous because we have less people and more money. Something like this, you know. So he cannot see what is going on. He knows that what is going on. But anyway, when we have a real situation, not like what happened in Egypt, what is going on in Libya or some other places, when we have a situation that you cannot really you cannot distinguish between what is good, what is bad, what is lawful, what is unlawful, what is to Allah, what is to the shaitan, what is to please Allah and what to please for others, it's very mixed issues. This is what we call it fitna too. And we have different stand toward this fitna. And that fitna again does not go under the application of negativeness at all. It does have different application of positiveness, but in different name. What we call that? We call it al-ihtiyat wal-wara'.
Al-ihtiyat wal-wara'.
Wal-wara'. Ihtiyat, to be in the safe side. To choose the safest way. Like when someone is going to that town, they told him, you have two roads. I-10, very safe, but it's very long. Maybe you cannot enjoy it. There's no many towns, little towns in the street and the highway. And you have another road. It's shorter, very maybe joyful road. Every maybe 5 meters you have maybe a gas station and groceries. But I have to tell you, it is not safe. It's not safe. So I cannot guarantee it.
So he will take the longer one to be.
You might go to that road. You might be reaching your destiny or destination safely. You might not. I cannot tell you. It's like 50-50. So the second road is 50-50, right? So what Muslims should do, right, to their own philosophy, they don't choose the second road, right?
Yes.
They choose the first road.
That's correct.
So when they choose the first one, or to choose not to go in the second road, and sometimes they have no choice but to sit back and wait till the other road will be opened. So they told him that the I-10 is not open right now. It's a heavy rain, thunderstorm, wait maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, right?
Yes.
But we are working on it. So they sit back, they wait till they have something clear. So again, when you have a situation in your life, event took a place, did mix lawful with unlawful, good and bad, evil things and Rahman things, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you cannot distinguish. You cannot just go by yourself and say, let me try it. No, you cannot try. Because in that case, you are going against the Islamic rules and Islamic law philosophy.
And inshallah, we will know what they should do, but we have to go in a quick break and we'll come back soon. So please stay with us.
Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
your standpoint of view, are there specific or certain criteria to choose your spouse or your partner, to marry or not to marry? Maybe that's the question. Do we revise the quality of performance of our treatment between the family members as fathers or mothers? As they say usually, it's not what you say, it's how would you say it. Wouldn't you like to be a good storyteller for your kids? Neurobiologically speaking, child abuse and emotional trauma causes scars in the brain of the child, and this might be not easily healing. What's the exact job description of a father? Is it clothing, payments and feeding, or other important things? Well, I think the job description of a father is merely giving him love and care, self-confidence, giving him sense of security, and checking for the points of strengths to stress on them. What about potty training and its planning? Oh yeah, actually, it's a state, it's a condition. Fatherhood is not a body or a person, it's a state. Are you a good or skillful designer for the policy and the long-term plans of the life of your kids? Join us every Wednesday for family issues.
Dear viewers, Hoda programs can be watched in the English section of the in-flight entertainment directory on board all Saudi airline flights, domestic and international. Sit back, relax and enjoy watching Hoda's entertaining and enlightening shows on your trip. Hoda wishes you a safe and successful journey. Hoda, a light in every home.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, what happened did happen. We cannot go back about what happened in Egypt and the revolution in Egypt. And as you know, the revolution were not an Islamic way, or the Islamic vision, or what they call it, the address of the Islamic view were not very clear in this revolution. So what the Muslim scholars should do to take the flag and lead this revolution to the right direction? And that will lead me to ask you, because this is what this revolution we're asking for, freedom and democracy. So that will lead me to ask you, what is freedom and democracy in Islam? Is there such thing in Islam?
You are asking big questions, Brother Ahmed, mashallah. Well, let me just do it this way, inshallah ta'ala. I don't think that we are able to elaborate on the meaning of democracy.
We can make it in a different episode, if you would like to.
I think so.
We can make a special episode for democracy in Islam.
I agree with you, inshallah ta'ala. So let us do it this way. Let us say we'll make a special episode to talk about democracy, freedom, what the definition of this both term toward, according to the demand of the people, according to the modern definition of them. Does it exist in the Islamic law, in Islamic understanding, the democracy? What freedom means in Islam? What is the political system in Islam to cover all these meanings? Assumably that we will be able in the future to reshape this event with the Islamic identity and Islamic understanding. So we should have our Islamic law, Islamic understanding demand and request. So you asked me a question, what the Muslim scholars, what should we do, shape it in an Islamic way? And you said we're not going to go back. No, I don't want to go back. You said that what happened. We're not going to go back to no, I'm not going to go back, inshallah ta'ala. What happened, alhamdulillah, we say alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.
Alhamdulillah.
And this is something happened because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is my belief, had a mercy upon the people here in Egypt and somewhere else. And that mercy will be continuing, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
But some people are very lucky to receive that mercy. They are prepared to that mercy. They were working to that mercy. Someone, they are not working to that mercy. They are not prepared to that mercy. And some of them, they are not understanding even that mercy. And some, this is the worst case, to turn this mercy to be anchor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like any bounty from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, any ni'mah, any gift, you could turn it to be accursed, right?
Yes.
So it's very important right now to say, Alhamdulillah, what happened, happened. But we have to receive this mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and put it in right place. We have to deal with it the way Muslim scholars they should. And the people of every Muslim country, they are listening to their scholars. They should treat and deal with this mercy the way it displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, enable them subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue what happened and to get the result in a better way, inshallah ta'ala. First of all, we have to say very clearly, the Muslim scholars were not there, as we said before, right?
Yes.
No one can deny this fact. Yes, we have seen some of them, but generally speaking, they were not in the big screen. They were not in the front. They were not in the lead. So enable them to be in the lead, in the front. They have to be real scholars. And this is referring to what we said before. We have free scholars and slave scholars.
I see.
Let us assume that we have, and we do have, alhamdulillah, as we said. We believe that we have very good Muslim scholars existing. They do exist in our life, in Egypt, in every Muslim place, and everywhere in this universe. This is my belief because I did deal with many of these people. They are there, but they are not activating themselves the way it should be. Well, some of them, they are activating themselves in different way. So how Muslim scholars are able to be in the front, to lead this big event in the future, or reshape this event right now in Egypt or somewhere else? First of all, in order to convince the people that their leaders are not the leaders of the political parties, they are not secularist, liberalist, or socialist, or maybe modern Muslim scholars, or maybe half scholars, or maybe immature du'at. No, your leaders, your authorities, your source in your Islamic understanding, and your even Islamic movement, your Islamic rising, is your scholars. Your scholars. And able to have this belief in the Muslim people, you have to work on it. First of all, we have to let our Muslim scholars go back to their original role in their life, to be everywhere, to be in the front, in every aspect of life, to activate their Islamic law rules, not just in the books, not just in the maybe assembly of Islamic law, not just in the conferences, not just in magazines and newspapers, not in the TVs. They have to go. They have to do it the same way he did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I would like to see Muslim scholars become part of their ummah. So when they have any question, when they have any problem, when they have any confusion in their mind toward any issue, they rush up to their scholar. They ask him, Ayyuha al-alim, my dear respected scholars, what is Islamic rule in this issue? Like the Sahaba they did. When you see the Sahaba, they have become maybe pasted with the Islamic understanding from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Prophet was with them alayhi salatu wasalam in every aspect of life. They understood that they have to go back to him, they have to refer to him, they have to take him as a source and reference and the role model sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. If we are able to make our scholars to take that role again, and then make our Muslim ummah one party, not different parties, one unit, not different units, and one message, not different messages, one ideology, not different ideologies, and able to spread these meanings in our Muslim society, that you have one message, as we said before, very simple, very clear, very united, and led by your Muslim scholars. And everyone is working in the Islamic field, in the Islamic work field, is within this system, within this work. There's no someone against someone else. There's no conflict between groups and parties. When the Muslims, people, that they see that everyone represents this Islam and these Islamic ideas are one unit, one body, one mind, and all of them, they are carrying one message. They have no choice but to follow these people. Now, how to reach that level, that the Muslim Ummah is reaching that level, that all of them, they are talking in one language. They are demanding one request. They are thinking one way. They are referring to one body in their life. It's a very, very big work. We have some maybe criteria, some means and some method to cover this issue. But I will just let it that way in our episode, inshallah ta'ala. Maybe we could talk about this issue in an expanding way in some other opportunities, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah Rabbil Alameen. You mentioned that the Muslim scholar who should lead the Ummah or the nation, people should go to him and ask him, which one comes first? Should he reach the people, introduce himself to the people? Or, because generally speaking, people don't know, or it's not in their mind to refer everything to the Islamic law. This is the realistic problem that we live in right now. Should he introduce himself as a visionary that he can show them through the media, multimedia, talking about what's going on right now, so people pay attention to him, so next time if something happened they will go and ask him? Or we should educate the people that remember, everything has to be referred to the Islamic law, and you need to go to a Muslim scholar and ask him. Which one can come first, as we are talking in our situation right now?
Right. Nothing better than the Prophet ﷺ example and the Sahaba example, radiallahu anhu warḍahum. It has to be both ways. People, they should refer to their scholars. They should introduce their concern to their scholars. And scholars, they should introduce themselves to the people by being with them in their practical life. And again, I said in different maybe occasions, what we have right now in our modern time, the special charisma for the Muslim scholars, special looking, special appearance, special dress for Muslim scholars, that put by itself Muslim scholars in a side, in a very narrow corner, was not make them able to be active in their life with the rest of the people, because they are scholars in a different shape and in a very special looking or look. He was not this way, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He never dressed different than others that they dress. He never said different than others that they said. He never eat different than the people that they eat. He was acting his life as a normal person, as he was Prophet and Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. That's the meaning of قُلْ سُبْحَانَ رَبِّي هَلْ كُنْتُ إِلَّا بَشَرًا رَسُولًا. Human beings. The human character of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was covering the prophethood. Why? To make it easy for the people to follow him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to imitate him, to not feel like some kind of maybe block or maybe some kind of barriers between them and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he is the way that they eat. They said the way that they eat. Sometimes they enter the masjid of him alayhi salam. They found him laying down on the masjid without anything, putting leg on other leg on his back, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, alone. There's no like special sofas or special maybe seat for him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a special guard. He was like anyone. He felt tired a little bit, entered the masjid, and he lay down and put leg on another leg and sit on his back, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was so simple, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Our Muslims country should be going back to the same criteria, the simplicity of the Islamic, I call it the Islamic character, not the religious character. To be able,
the Islamic character.
Not the religious character, Islamic character. This is the character of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was so simple, so normal. He was not pretending to be a good person. He was the best sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by nature. That we want from our scholars, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah, definitely. This is a wonderful way to end our show. Before we leave, I would like to remind our viewers, dear viewers, to communicate with us and contact us through our emails, islamiclawtoday@huda.tv. And I would like to thank Professor Muhammad Naim Saie, the professor in several Islamic universities in America, for being with us and sharing his point of views and his knowledge with us. Thank you for being with us. And inshallah, till we meet again next week, please, if you have any concerns or questions, send us your emails and we will answer your questions inshallah next week. So please join us again next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray. As the best of His creation, only us did He deem. This for us is honor, this high esteem. His qudrat it is that cause winds to blow. He gives us provision so that we may grow.